This is a Fox News alert. As we reported moments ago, two U.S. officials confirming to Fox News that North Korea just test-launched a ballistic missile into the Sea of Japan. Happened about 1 hour ago. The missile is said to be a former Scud missile that officials believe is being tested to target ships. That missile flew roughly 25 miles, was in the air for 15 minutes. It was launched from Puchang. Reuters is reporting that the launch appears to have failed. This is the last North Korean missile launch, which happened earlier this month, also ended in failure when the missile blew up almost immediately, and that there was speculation and not a lot of and rumor that the U.S. may have had something to do with that failure. U.S. officials not turning people away from that possibility. But again, in the face of the United Nations Security Council meeting today with Secretary Rex Tillerson addressing the UN, North Korea obviously pulling off another provocative action, despite the fact that the action may have failed to what they're trying to do, testing these missiles. Let's bring in our panel in Washington. Byron York is chief political correspondent for the Washington Examiner. A.B. Stoddard, associate editor at Real Clear Politics, and Matt Schlapp is a contributor with The Hill. Byron, your thoughts on this and this ratcheting up of tension that we've seen in recent days?
Well, I mean, it appears that they're saber rattling, but it also appears that they keep messing up. And I think you're absolutely right about this will heighten speculation that the United States sabotaged this in some way. If it was a failure, that the United States had something to do with that failure. Clearly, after this happened a week ago, Trump administration officials were asked about it, and they kind of grinned and said, "We can't talk about it." And of course, no one confirmed it, but they really didn't give you the impression that they were directing you away from that conclusion anyway. So clearly, it's going to bring much more speculation that the United States is actually playing an active role in sabotaging this.
Hey, but here's the Secretary of State yesterday, something he reiterated at the UN today.
Pyongyang's missiles can now go in any direction, and this is a threat that is now moving out of the region and is becoming global. We were unwilling to negotiate our way to the negotiating table, and I think that's the mistakes of the past.
How long is the U.S. willing to wait?
Well, we've got to see a real change on the part of the posture of the regime in North Korea. Now, how do we see that? Well, we'll wait as long as it takes, as long as the threat is manageable.
But isn't that a version of strategic patience?
We will know it when we see it.
So is this it? Is this knowing it when you see it, this test that in the face of the U.S. paying very close attention, AB, to what North Korea is doing?
Well, I think that the president made some, strange, dramatic comments last night in an interview saying that we could be headed towards a, quote, major conflict with North Korea. According to Maggie Haberman of the New York Times, who has very good West Wing sources, he just said it on his own, and it wasn't really the policy of the administration. And, of course, on the world stage in an official capacity today, Tillerson repeated much of what he said to you last night and talked about there is an opening. Even though Vice President Pence said we're not going to negotiate with them, we can talk to them. As long as they're going to change their posture and dismantle their nuclear program, there is an opening where we will not topple their regime and we will work with them. That is a new tune that our government is singing, but there were strong words about really trying to quash any economic opportunity for them worldwide, and we would work with all of our allies, and we would be punishing those who defied us. And of course, right, back in the crosshairs here is China. So I think after the test today, we'll see the administration, go back to China, and we're waiting for a signal from them that's really substantive. Not just did you stop a coal shipment, but are you on board with missile defense in South Korea? Are you going to stop sanctions against businesses in South Korea? Are they going to come to the table? We keep hearing from the White House, Brett, that the Chinese are being really helpful, but no one's giving us a lot of examples. So if the Chinese are the ones who have to take care of this, I think we need to hear from the Chinese.
Yeah, Matt, speaking of sanctions, I mean, North Korea is one of the most heavily sanctioned countries in the world already. You have here in the U.S. the House Majority Leader, Kevin McCarthy, saying that the House would hold a vote on sanctions next week to go after North Korea's shipping industry and those who employ North Korean labor abroad. How much can be done without China being integral?